alcohol. Therefore, any individual who is not happy in a normal state will be more unhappy under the addiction of any form of stimulant which breaks down the defenses of the conscious character of the person. Nearly everyone is born with a dual nature. He is born with the instrument by which he can adjust to society and by which he gradually converts himself to a reasonable way of life. In order to accomplish this, however, you have hereditary factors, you also have early environmental conditionings, and you have the larger environment of social existence. Where the person grows up in a comparatively secure atmosphere, he has not too much danger of any serious drug habit. But where he has not had any fixation of character, he's had no structural support, the situation gets worse and worse. We have passed through in the last century, in the present century, we have passed through 2 world wars, great depressions, and we're in the midst of complete planetary upheaval. This should be the great challenge. To meet this, every individual should be using the very best mental equipment that he has. He should be thinking seriously on the ways in which he can think straight in a crooked situation, how he can survive all of these difficulties simply because he has resources within himself that are stronger than the pressures on the outside. Today, the average young person does not have these resources, and older persons in various walks of life also lack these resources. It is not today very good or easy to find the type of life that would contribute to security. If we go into, for instance, our entertainment world, we find that the entire programs of television, stage, theater, all these elements are completely corrupted. They are broken down into the gratification of the very miseries with which we are trying to protect ourselves against. We are in the face of a series of phantoms, illusions, dream images, imaginary stories, all kinds of psychological pressures that exist for only one reason, namely to make money. We are supposed to have these because a larger audience watches them. And a larger audience watches them because more people are sick than are well. Therefore, the individual who is in the midst of a frustrational mess himself can identify with misery, but cannot identify with growth, progress, and harmony. Actually, the entire situation is closing in because of the incredible stupidity of people. It is due to the fact that with all our thinking and with all our planning, our great dream in life is to live in a peaceful world, happy and well-adjusted, without sacrificing any ambition, any selfishness, or any misuse of energy or waste of time. We are supposed to be able to perfect the world as it is, keeping all of the factors that we enjoy as amusement or for profit, and at the same time live noble and exalted careers. It just cannot be done. And we are going to face it more and more as time goes on. Now, the factor of karma plays an important part also in this situation. Karma is individual and it is also collective. Karma can be a long-range procedure in which the individual brings with him into embodiment the debts unpaid in time past. It also can lead into the future, so that present action may have its ultimate conclusion far beyond the present day. Now, we may assume, and most people must assume, that the karma which we have brought with us into life is a mixed blessing. This doesn't mean that none of it is good. There are many wonderful things that we bring with us. In fact, nearly everyone is born with an idealism of some kind. He is not born without it, but it is taken away from him in his formative growth years. He comes into this world to enjoy the wonders of life. As a small child, he sees around him only wonders and mysteries. But if the family is close, his childhood is happy. But the average family is not close, and this is partly due to economic situation, in which the child's misery results from the necessity of the parents to take care of the economic conditions. On the other hand, this is also often abused, in which the parents take on extravagances and personal pleasures beyond their means, and then blame that for the fact that they cannot take care of their families. So into this world, the individual comes with karma. But he nearly always comes with a great deal of potential. One of the terrible tragedies of the modern world is that most persons are born and die without releasing the internal potential with which they were supposed to build a life. Instead of releasing potential, they are simply smothered by outside pressures. Actually, society is a little better than we think it is. There are a great many very good people. There are a great many good homes. There are a great number of honest persons, and still many more who would be honest if they knew how to accomplish this. Therefore, we have with us a strong potential. We have great possibilities, but we also have the unfinished business of our own lives. The moment the individual reaches 5 or 10 years of age, character is clearly indicated. People have their own individual ways of life. These ways may or may not resemble the ways of their parents in any way. They come with talents, abilities, concepts, attitudes, dispositions. These must be trained, developed, organized, and worked with. But no one seems to have the time to do it. And by the time they get around to it, because the child has become a delinquent, it is too late to accomplish the necessary corrections. But the use of what we bring into life is tremendously important. It is quite obvious, I think, that most persons coming into life do not primarily desire to be rich or famous. The rich-fame complex comes a little later, when it becomes obvious to them that wealth and distinction bring with them certain advantages, certain fulfillments otherwise difficult. But in most cases, the greater the wealth, the less the likelihood of the inner life being developed or sustained. Because as wealth increases, interests change from the improvement of character to the accumulation of possessions. But actually, each individual is a potential helper in the perfection of civilization. Every good thing that the world has today came from within some human being who brought it forth as music, as art, as literature, as drama, as history. All kinds of wonderful developments, discoveries, and experiments have been carried on by human beings, many of them for the advancement and benefit of society. Therefore, each person has something to give. But if he can't give it, and it is locked within himself, a certain tension develops, a stress, a frustration. The individual who has always wanted, as long as he can remember back, has always wanted to go to sea in a ship, finds himself locked in a broker's office. An individual whom nature has intended to be an artist ends up as a doctor because there's more money in it. Little by little, the physical advantages take shape against natural integrities and natural interests. The individual, not being able to do what he wants to do, sits uneasily in his body for the rest of his life. He is never quite adjusted.